Are you feeling this? It's the in-between eclipses space. And I'm here with glasses on because it is quite bright. If you don't mind, it's just a bit more comfortable. Okay, so we had the blood moon on the 7th. That's lunar eclipse. We're approaching the partial solar eclipse on the 21st, 22nd of September. And in this in-between space, it's the energetics of a cycle having ended, of closing, and you may feel spacey or that you're not quite sure about certain things, maybe needing to feel more grounded and to have more clarity as you approach the next portal in this space. And today the energy is very much about Chiron, and the moon is in Cancer as well. So there's increased sensitivity. You may have from yesterday and even into today, tomorrow, feel heightened emotions, feel extra sensitive, and feel that something's been ripped off to expose something that you may perceive to be your deepest wounding, or that gives you a sense of vulnerability or even fragility on getting that, where you may feel fragile, whether it's in the body, in the human physical form, which we can all experience, like the soul is infinite and indestructible and so powerful, and that our human form and even our personality or the way we see certain things reflected to us in our reality may give us a sense of powerlessness or vulnerability or just in our basic humanity. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, what status you have, and everything. I've said this in previous videos, didn't quite follow through with the rest that I'm intended to say, neurodiverse thing. But we all get up in the morning, we all go to bed at night. We all experience digestive issues. We all go to the bathroom. We all buy or use toilet paper. I mean, in the law of one, I mean, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and then can be merging with and connecting with our higher self and our soul and feel the infinite nature and the power of that energy and light. And we can be doing a dance between both. We can have days when we feel super confident and super vitalized and empowered and emboldened in our energy. And we may have another day where we wake up and say to ourselves, well, hang on a second, who am I? What's going on in the world? I mean, everybody has these experiences, and they may meditate and come back to and connect with mindfulness of remembering the truth of who they are and remembering how they're showing up. And on the evolutionary path, you can find your structures and your rhythms and your routines change, and how you're showing up can change. And that means that you can undergo these periods of the in between and the liminal spaces of knowing something has come to an end, not quite seeing or feeling or living the reality of what you know you're being called into next. You just feel energetically a change is here, but it's not quite come into your awareness, into your reality yet. Are you with me? Is this resonating with you? Please do drop a comment below. I'd appreciate that. Um, but it might be that you're feeling in your field that you've shifted and you transformed and you've changed. You're no longer giving your attention or energy to certain things that you had been doing. This can be a simplifying. It can be in this setting. It's the year 9, the wood snake year of releasing and shedding things. And this is very much the energy of what you're letting go of, what's no longer you, shedding aspects of yourself, stop being bound by your personality so much and connecting more with the multi-dimensional nature of your existence, and that being more the truth of who you are, and that being a shedding, a releasing to merge with that remembrance. And it's the Russian doll analogy of like coming out to the next one. That's not me, that's not me, that's not me, coming down to my core. Yet the core is actually, conversely, it's not the tiny little Russian doll within. It's actually expanding outwards into your field, coming into the fullness of your soul, which extends beyond your body. So it's actually the opposite way of going, that's not me, that's not my, that's not me, that's not me, to expand in your energy, to see the limitless nature of your being and how even more is available to you and accessible to you. And that does, on that path, it does require you to stop playing small It does require you to stop giving your attention and your energy to things that you know shrink you or limit you or give you a certain box or title or role that is not the truth of who your energy is expanding into. And I'm seeing this a lot recently on this kind of the allocates, the recognition of titles and roles and things, when that in itself is a limitation because everyone is more than a certain label. And therefore, it's important that we don't get too attached or don't give too much importance to these titles or roles because we're multidimensional beings and we don't want to restrict or limit or inhibit ourselves from shining in more of the greatness that we already are. And that's already within us, and the genius has already been within us when we came into this world. So it's not something that we're striving for, it's not something we get accredited in, it's not something we receive certifications on. It's something that you've always had within you. And this is why I've really aligned with the work that I do in this soul retrieval and soul remembrance, in doing, facilitating, holding space for others to reconnect with their soul. And it's a shedding, releasing, transformational grieving process of coming back to already being whole, of knowing everything is already within you and fine tuning the frequency to be living from that reality within your energy and in your field, expanding outwards from you so that you magnetize and attract and are living the reality that's more the reflection of that frequency. And we can come out of the remembrance of that in if we're not giving it our conscious attention or doing the subconscious programming, like the de-weeding of our garden to rewire the body being the reflection of the subconscious. And in this way, if we spend so many hours a day sitting and working at computers, we're not moving our body and not allowing energy to flow, and therefore can constrict ourselves and constrict the manifestation process. I mean, I believe personally the most successful people who do work online on digital platforms have like walking treadmills that they're moving their bodies while they're working because if they understand that energy needs to flow and move. And this is you, if you constantly sit at a desk at a computer, I'm recommending that you put in, every 45 to 50 minutes, you do chair yoga, you do stretches, you do something to move, you even get up and play a 2 to 3 minute song and dance to it and move your body so your energy doesn't become stagnant or stuck and stop things flowing for you. Because when we're in flow in our body and in movement and energetically, we allow things to flow to us in our reality, we allow positive outcomes, we allow things to be more fluid. And we're in the age of Aquarius, which is innovative and it's fluid in energy. It's not the rigid mindsets. It's not the systems and the structures and the strategies that someone else has imposed on us. And this is the importance of the releasing and the shedding of what is not true and what is not us, because essentially we've been conditioned since we were born by generational energy that's been passed on down to us, even through the room space. And this has happened to previous generations as well. So, I mean, let's all have love and compassion here for that, and understanding and awareness. Yet, going to school and all of these programs and structures has given us other people's opinions and beliefs or models for how we're expected to view the world or to be in it, and that's taken us away from listening to our own inner voice. So I love connecting with people to do the work of coming back to yourself and listening to yourself. And it just begs the question, when did you stop listening to yourself? When did you stop allowing yourself to dream? When did you stop allowing yourself to use the creative force of your imagination to visualize and think up wild, happy adventures and possibilities for yourself that you can make come true, starting with using the creative power of your perception and imagination to make that come about in your reality? I'm looking across out at the sea here, and like there's this bush in front of me that's just like a heart-shaped green heart. It's incredible. And this has just come from creation through thought, through imagination, and how everything that we see in our reality was once a thought and has come into being through imagination. Bob Proctor said, if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. You can visualize, you can imagine, you can create it, it can come into your reality. And that's why it's so important that we bring our attention and energy, which is our currency, back into ourselves to recognize how powerful we are as creators and manifestors, so that we're visualizing and creating and bringing about and taking action on the things that we want for our own blissful heavenly creation of heaven and earth for us in our reality, and not only for us, but for the greater good. And the more people are genuinely happy in their reality, the more that lowers the crime rates, the more, and has a knock on ripple effect when people are genuinely happy. And if we focus on what we're truly needing, coming back to the beginning of the video, where that wounding may be coming up, how it may feel brutal, it may feel painful, you may feel raw and real about it. It's a blessing and a gift following on from the past video, because when you know what it is and why, then you have the power to alchemize it. Then you have the power to visualize something different. Then you have the power to imagine new things, because all is in the eternal now, and you can stop feeding the energy of the past, and you can, from the present moment, heal the past through choosing to have a different perception, through visualizing and imagining something that's more beneficial for you, that favors you. You can even notice your progress through, rather than feeling an energy of victimhood or victimization over feeling sorry for yourself for something, for instance, which many of us can do, which I certainly have been there. Don't get me wrong, no judgment. But when we can look at this from a higher perspective and the ego bird's eye view and say, oh, I'm falling into victimhood again, and that's not an energy that serves me, that doesn't benefit me. So how can I look at this not from an emotionally charged place, but to be the observer of the person who's experiencing the emotion? The same way you become the observer of the mind and observing the thoughts that you're having, that you're not so enmeshed or tangled up in them, while you can feel your feelings, to alchemize them, to give love and grace and compassion for them. You can observe progress through witnessing yourself and saying, oh, this is what's happening, and I understand that, I know where this is coming from. And rather than falling into victimhood, you can actually give yourself love and say, wow, this is a beautiful part of my humanity, and I love this version of myself, and I give this version of myself so much grace and kindness and compassion, because this version of me has served a purpose and has helped me along to who I am now. And I'm now choosing to love myself from a higher perspective. I'm now choosing to view this differently. I'm now choosing to tell a different story about this. I'm now choosing to release the story about this. I'm now seeing that this doesn't benefit me any longer, and I'm choosing better for myself out of love for myself. You alchemize and go higher with that. And you may feel today that is like the task that you've been given to work with certainly already has come up for me. And kind of like a band-aid kind of ripped off, like, oh, there it is again. But we can feel that we've healed and alchemized something, and healing happens in spirals, and something can come back around again. And it's important not to get so emotionally enmeshed with it that you let that be the story of your reality, but to simply observe yourself and to refine your self-concepts and to fine-tune the frequency again, that you can shift the trajectory, you can heal and alchemize things, you can go to a new level, you can observe the progress you've already made, and you can give thanks to it, and you can give thanks to knowing yourself better and knowing where these things come from and the dynamics, or perhaps even recalling how what's now coming through is how this can be something that's played over in previous lifetimes, that you're in this lifetime asked to transform and transcend, and to overcome it, so that you go to the new level of you. And in my book, I've talked specifically, I've written about Chiron and the placement and where it is for me. And in my chart, and astrologically, it's in the second house in Taurus. And that has to do with beyond the self, how you're meeting your needs, and how you kind of present yourself to the words, and how you can ask for what you need, how you get your needs met. And to share, I get, have become based on childhood programming and conditioning, very people pleasing, in a way of feeling that that was going to get my needs met by giving me a sense of security, belonging, and safety. And having to transcend that and say, well, I'm no longer going to be a people pleaser. I'm going to meet my needs through caring for myself and not absorbing and taking on other people's emotional realities or having to fix or pander to something, yet truly care for myself and meet my own needs. Then there can be the opposite extreme there, which you for whoever this may resonate with, you may get fixated on hyper independence and not ask for help. So it can like that's the opposite way when you're like trying so much to get your needs met through a codependent vibe to completely withdrawing and isolating and shutting up and taking everything on yourself and feeling that you have to go it alone and you can't rely on anybody. And where is the healthy middle ground? So that may resonate for you, or you can apply it to where your Chiron is and to look at it if you're swaying one way or another to from one extreme to the next or between both, then are you finding a healthy balance? And balance is important now coming into Libra season. And I posted on this earlier, and that being about relationships, your relationship with the world, your relationship and connection with others. And this energy today seems to be the invitation of really aligning with and looking at your relationship with yourself to understand yourself in a new, deeper way. So you can understand how you're showing up in relational dynamics and how you're being the best version of you, giving up the need to really have expectations of others, allowing others to be as they are while you have your standards and your non-negotiables and your bare minimums. Yet, if you're going to have that with others, it does call you up to a higher standard within yourself and having your non-negotiables and your self-discipline with yourself, because you can't expect the very best from someone else if you're not demanding the very best of yourself for yourself. Every time we may feel that we judge another and saying, well, you're not doing this or I want this from you, is immediately in that instant, you're calling yourself up because what you're seeing is a reflection of you. So we literally cannot expect to do that unless we instantly accept in the same moment that we're calling ourselves up to a higher standard. And therefore we accept that. I accept that I'm setting this new standard with this person. And in the same moment, I'm also accepting my own responsibility to be better myself, because that is greater truth and that's more authentic. And that's being more compassionate as well, because everyone's doing the best that they can. And if we're going to call anybody else out, that's calling ourselves up. I firmly believe it. I've had energetic moments of doing that. Like, well, I no longer want to accept this in a relationship anymore. So what is that inviting me to do to be better myself? Because it has to go both ways. Does that resonate with you? Okay. Feels like a really emboldened, there's a little sassy energy today as well in me. Are you feeling that? So the opportunity is there to look at what the wounding may be so that you can transcend it in a new way in going forward, looking at relational dynamics coming into Libra season. I'm going to wrap up the video there now. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Do let me know if it's resonated. That's the next one.